tore into Tom Tillis, saying that he was grandstanding and indicating that maybe he should deserve a primary challenge. So right now, they could pass the bill as is if they get Ron Johnson.
And Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is delaying the vote by forcing the 940-page bill to be read out loud. The July 4th travel rush is heating up with major delays already kicking off the holiday week because of severe weather.
Hundreds of flights canceled or delayed at the nation's busiest airport, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, over the weekend after severe storms, including reports of microburst winds and quarter-inch size hail. Friday evening drove more than 90 flight diversions and forced the evacuation of the airport's control tower. Delta Airlines temporarily pulled 100 planes from service at its Atlanta hub to inspect for hail damage. The impacts of the storms lingering way into Saturday, with more than 500 cancellations and more than 1,000 delays yesterday.
And that's Fox's Chanley Painter. FlightAware.com reporting nearly 200 flight cancellations, almost 1,000 flights delayed today. A 20-year-old woman was attacked by a juvenile shark early this week while in waist-deep water in the surf at a suburban New York beach. The unidentified victim suffering minor cuts to her left leg and foot after being bitten at Jones Beach State Park. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What they want to be done, cloudy and 78. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 11:03. State attorneys have sent a request to the Indiana Supreme Court to announce the date for Roy Lee Ward to be executed for raping and killing Stacy Payne in 2001. If the request is accepted, Ward will be the third person in Indiana since the state resumed executions after a 15-year period. Joseph Corcoran was executed in December of last year, and Benjamin Ritchie was executed in May this year, both from lethal injections. The state purchased more than $1 million for 4 doses of that. 2 of those doses expired. 2 people are facing charges for their involvement in a shooting in Fort Wayne. Jarrett Lewis reports.
Police in Fort Wayne say they've arrested a man and a woman in connection to a double murder from Thursday. 29-year-old Shan Lindell Ford Jr. and 37-year-old Quenisha Gaylor were arrested and now face multiple preliminary charges like murder and attempted burglary. Both are being held at the Allen County Jail. The victims, identified as 39-year-old Anisha Denise Jackson and 28-year-old Tonor Dewan Doby. Investigators believe the killings stem from a fight at a beauty parlor Thursday involving exes. Jarrett Lewis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Chickadee's Gift Shop in South Bend, known for its handcrafted gifts like jewelry, candles, and more, welcomed the community to stroll through their gardens and check out offerings from several of their local vendors. WIBC News Time at 11:04, and now here is your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center with Ryan Morse.
For today, some spots of fog waking up. Partly cloudy skies become mostly cloudy. Spotty pop-up showers and storms expected this afternoon. Highs in the mid to upper 80s. On Wish TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jake McDaniel, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Denny Smith here. The hot summer sales continue at Miss M's Home and Garden and Sundown Gardens. Happening now, save more when you buy more trees and shrubs. Now, when you buy 2, you save 10%. When you buy 4, you save 20%. And get this, when you buy 6 or more trees and or shrubs, you save 30%. Also, if you need a refresh in the porch planters, annuals are 30% off. Miss M's Home and Garden on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville. Sundown Gardens, 186th Street, Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
Addiction doesn't just affect one person, it touches everyone around them. That's why Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick created the Supporting Sobriety podcast. It's for the friends and family standing behind, offering hope, guidance, and real talk. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the last Sunday of June.
Oh my gosh, a half a year gone by.
I know it's June 29th, but guess what?
What?
We're less than 6 months away from Christmas. Huh?
Terry, not with that.
I-
Especially with a holiday around the corner.
We're 5
True.
days from the 4th of July.
Thank you for listening to the first day. If you and watching too, are we on, Kielynn? Are we on
sure
streaming? Hi, is there
Join us
anybody there?
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook streaming, all of it.
This is the first day WIBC Sunday Magazine show. What do you think about that? 78 degrees.
Well, that's a blessing.
It is a blessing. Independence Day week ahead. In just a little bit, I'm going to talk to you about when they started allowing us to buy commercial-grade fireworks that can blow your head off.
Let's not.
Come on,
If you
that
listen
sounded
to me-
opinionated. You're supposed to be objective.
I've been here a long time. Remember when I was younger, guys, that were listening to me back then and how much I loved the whole fireworks thing. And then
got
and
a
I really
dog.
remember. Yeah, and then I got a dog, and then I started talking to veterans, and then I started not loving it. I think you got 11 days you can legally, if that's even a word when it comes to fireworks, legally shoot them off in your backyard.
There's some pretty big cannons that you can
Oh
light
my
up.
gosh, Denny. I mean, they truly, to me, seem commercial grade.
When you hear the sound, whoop, whoop, you know something
Oh,
big's
you sure
going to
do.
happen.
You know.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Big.
Man, well, it's better than the little atomic bomb kits that they used to give kids. You remember those?
No.
They're little atomic energy labs. I learned about it because of the new History Channel series with Henry Winkler. It's
Oh, isn't it a
Hazardous
good one?
History.
That's right. It's
Yes.
such a good one.
Yes, and they gave kids uranium
That's
to make
right. Remember?
atomic bombs in their living room.
Henry Winkler
No,
narrates
come
this. It's
on.
It's a great
Come
show.
on.
This crap.
Yeah.
No. Hey,
I should
that-
introduce everybody,
yeah,
by
that
the way,
voice
because
you
you're
hear.
hearing
We got
voices.
a new voice here.
You're right. Okay, so that's Denny Smith
Hi.
that you hear. You hear him with us every week. Kielynn Talley, of course.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. And then Alexandra. You want me to say your last name?
I mean, you can.
It's Barker. Bob Barker's kid.
Yes.
She's here, and she's shadowing. This will be her last day with us to kind of watch what we're doing. I think she's very clear on this is not the job for her.
I'm having fun, though.
I don't know. After hanging out with Denny, I
Now,
understand.
having fun and working
understand.
are usually two different things. So
Denny's wearing a corn shirt, by the way, that I absolutely love. You'll see it.
You'll see it later
coming up.
during Dollar
I'm coming
Tree.
over
It's like
behind
that,
Kielynn.
that It's Corn song. It's corn. Denny is corn.
Denny is corn. Now, I do want to, there you go.
Flex those muscles,
Look
Denny.
at Denny's shirt. How awesome is that shirt? It's so
Woo-wee.
cool. It is so cool. 78 degrees, as we mentioned. It feels like we're having like a nice, cool fall day since we've been in the 90s. We're going to be okay. We're going to be less humidity for the next couple days, as you heard in the weather forecast, but it will come back just in time for 4th of July and always. Now, I want to ask you, I was asking Denny this morning, do you remember the viral sensation video called Back It Up, Terry?
I do not. And I thought it was about you.
He did. He thought, oh gosh, did somebody do a video and it's about you?
Someone made
Because I can just hear people say, "Oh, Terry, back it up."
Do we have I don't know how this will sound just with Audible, but the gist of it is there's a gentleman and he's with his friends and his name is Terry. And Terry is in a wheelchair and wants to participate. And you don't, play it.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh,
Terry is in the middle of the fireworks that are going on.
Wheel
In his
him
wheelchair.
away.
Lordy.
Poor
it came out
Terry.
later. It is a electric wheelchair, and
Yeah.
so you can't just push it. And it stalled in the middle of them setting off these fireworks.
So there's fireworks going off all around Terry. And then you hear this guy who really is, he's the one that makes you laugh at his voice, yelling, "Back it up, Terry! Back it up,
Oh,
Terry!
Lord!
Oh, Lord!" And then, but you may be wondering, whatever happened to Terry? And there was a story done about him, or not to Terry, to the guy in the wheelchair, right? Do you have a little bit of, here it is. Here's what happened to this guy.
I didn't realize that it's people out there in the world that actually want to be around me.
A fame that came at a crucial moment in Terry's life.
Terry been in the wheelchair now about 10 years. He had a slip and fall getting out of the tub. The lower part of his back hit the tub and his neck hit the toilet.
Leaving Terry with a spinal cord injury, unable to walk.
It was one of the worst things, especially a mother would have to go through to see her only child cannot move. It took a lot of his spirit away. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, but it's been a long, hard journey. Just watching my child go from here to down here.
A height Terry knew he had to climb.
I was in a very deep depression to where I tried to hurt myself. And then I thought in my head, the only thing I thought was about my mom and my grandmom, how it would hurt them.
So Terry fought on, and when this video went viral,
Put it in reverse, Terry!
the love that poured in was just the medicine for Terry to bounce back.
Oh, Lord!
It's real awesome, and I wanted to thank all of my fans that's out there that's helping me. I'm better now. I'm bringing myself back up.
Terry was gifted a new wheelchair, so no more stalling, but he still has his day-to-day challenges.
That chair is super big, and it ripped some of this off the doorway.
It is so limited space. And Terry's van has its problems as well.
Everything is kind of a little hard, but I still try to do everything that I can do on my own.
With support from not only his family and friends, but fans around the world.
And what a beautiful thing that
It
came
really
from
is.
such a viral moment.
It really is. And I thought maybe we would just catch up and see really who that guy is, who Terry is. And because
now he sells the
I bet
merch
I've watched
for
it 25 times, and we watch it every year, and it makes its way on social media. And now you know, Denny, who's backing up Terry.
I'm sorry I thought it was about you, because you've done your share of stupid things too, and I just have known you too long.
He was really concerned.
Oh, Lord, Terry, you didn't say that, did
Every
you?
time Terry says something from now, we'll be like, "Oh Lord, not again, Terry."
So funny.
Oh,
All right, let's make a little room. Ethan Hatcher has something he wants to show all of you that is, I think, as it relates to Independence Day or to that time. But we will see Ethan, I think. Fingers crossed. I haven't really confirmed it, but hopefully he'll be here in just a few minutes. It's the first day. Thanks for joining us this morning on 93 WIBC.
miss Toby Keith.
Me too.
He was one of the real ones.
Rest in peace, Toby Keith. 78 degrees, cloudy skies in downtown Indianapolis. This is the First Day Show. Terri Stacy, along with Denny Smith, Kielynn, Tally, Alexandra is with us today, watching to see what's going on as a shadow. We're glad. Am I the shadow or are you the shadow? You're the shadow.
I'm the shadow.
She's the shadow. She's be the shadow.
Yeah, who left the door in? Did you open? Did you see what came in?
Yay! One of my favorites. Ethan Hatcher is here. Ethan hosts Saturday Night on the Circle, and I hope you've heard him because I like him a lot. He's brought us something. You've been collecting vintage and not really vintage, but antiques.
Antiques.
For as long as I've known you.
Yeah, my whole life I've always been interested in collecting, acquiring, and displaying old things. It's just the connection to the past and the stories they tell I find fascinating.
He's got some cool stuff. And you brought us something today.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you bring?
I picked this up. I'll hold it up to the camera here.
Okay.
A couple years ago, this was at the Heartland Antique Festival in Richmond, Indiana, a place I found some really cool stuff from over the years, and here I'll share it around with you guys.
I will explain to you that it is about the size of, it's very small for those that are just listening.
It's about the size of a business card, let's say.
Pretty small.
Yeah. This is a piece, it's about 246 years old now.
Oh, get out of here.
Came from 1779, Massachusetts Bay Area. This is a 5 shillings currency note that would have been used during the Revolutionary War period. So it's already a desirable collector's item for that reason alone. But what makes this piece particularly fascinating is that the engraving work on the front there was done by Paul Revere, Paul Revere from the famous Midnight Ride.
He was a coppersmith, was he not?
He was a silversmith. I think he did copper work as well, but he also did engraving work. So that made him, especially in this era, a very multi-talented individual, because silversmithing and engraving work are not necessarily the same set of skills. So the fact that he was able to do both really made his work stand out in Revolutionary War America. The symbolism behind the work on the front there, this is called a rising sun note, because you see Kielynn has it right now. She's holding it. And there's a rising sun kind of off to the side.
Yeah.
The symbolism there is because the British Empire, when they were attacking us, said that the sun is setting on the American Empire. So Paul Revere made sure to put a rising sun to note that this is the beginning of the American Republic.
Why does it say 5 shillings and 4 pence?
Yes.
What is that about?
You got me.
5 shillings and 4 pence is what it says on it. That's
it is
the value of it, right?
Yes, that would have been the value for the currency. I don't know what the purpose of breaking it up in that denomination would have served.
It's like a $2 bill.
It's like a $2.50 bill.
$2.50 bill. Nobody wants to use it.
That's kind of interesting.
So they don't have to carry change.
Yeah.
The other thing that makes this piece especially worthwhile and valuable, they're holding up again to the camera, this is an uncanceled note, because once they transitioned over to the next form of currency and the banking institutions of the era retained these old bills, they'd punch a big old hole right in the center of it, so that way
so it's used.
It's used. It couldn't be sent back out into circulation. So somebody 246 years ago tucked this into their billfold and then passed it down from family member to family member, and it never came out. So therefore, this is an uncanceled and consequently more valuable bill.
Wow. Do you know well, probably not, the history of where it came from, where this actual thing that you have came from?
Yeah, I mean, it came from Massachusetts. It was a Massachusetts Bay Area form of currency.
Man.
So it would have stayed there on the eastern region of the United States and been distributed amongst the colonials who were using that for exchange.
Are there a lot of those out there?
Not a lot, especially not in uncanceled condition. Like
I'm looking at $790. Massachusetts issue, was that Massachusetts?
Yeah, this is from Massachusetts.
$790. If it's in really good condition, it's over $800. So.
For this Revere note, you can be fetching anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000.
Oh my God! Well, that must be that's pretty cool.
It is really cool. He finds the coolest things. Where did you find this? How did you find it?
Well, like I said, this was in the Heartland Antique Festival in Richmond, Indiana. They come around every June, and they also have some branch shows that happen in Ohio, and I'm thinking about attending a few of those. But really cool collectors come out from East Coast and other regions of the U.S., and it really is an antique festival. I've been to like a couple other antique shows around Indiana this year, and they've kind of been disappointing because they're like more junk and knickknack shows, not antique shows. The Heartland down there in Richmond, that's an antique show.
I'm going to have to get you up in my barn where I've got all my grandparents and my mom's my mom was an antique dealer. I got to get you up there so you can.
Oh, let me dig through, man.
I don't want you to dig through. I want you to take it off my hands and buy it.
Yeah, well,
hey,
Ethan
you got any
Hunter-
phonographs up there? Sometimes they're a great barn find phonographs.
Terry, here's what a 5 pence. You can buy a pound of butter for 4 pence back then. So that's what a pound of butter cost. Pint of ale.
That what he has would have bought what? A pound of butter?
Well, 4 pence would. But a day's wages for a laborer was 1 to 2 shillings. So a 5 shilling piece.
That's about a week.
Yeah.
So this is equivalent to about a week's worth of labor.
That's a pretty. I mean, back then it was a pretty more than a $5 bill. Is what I'm saying.
Do you have anything else from the Revolutionary time, that Revolutionary War time in the 1700s?
Yeah, I have a little scrimshaw tobacco box that was done out of horn, scrimshaw and horn implements, horn containers were very prominent and prevalent around Revolutionary War America.
Let's tell folks what scrimshaw is. It's carving on ivory.
Well, not just ivory, whalebone,
or
horns.
Yeah.
You can do it on cow horn too.
The sailors always did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
The sailors were carving on the horns.
They were carving on the whalebones, and whalebone has basically the consistency of ivory. Whalebone, unlike most bone, is incredibly dense, heavy material. The item that I'm talking about would have been made just out of regular bone or horn. And then contain tobacco in it, and I think that was from Britain around the 1700s. I've got stuff here and there from around Revolutionary War period. I have pre-Revolutionary stuff, like I got some of my neat indentured servitude contracts. I've got one from I think it was 1737.
Now tell people what those were. That's how people got over from Europe to the United States. They would sell their wages. They would indenture themselves. And they had to sign a contract to do that, Ethan.
Could be from anywhere of 3 years of service to 10 to 15 years of service. But believe it or not, you wanted the lengthy contracts. Because if you came over on a 3-year contract, the likelihood of the owner working you literally to death was pretty high. There was much more investment if you had a long-term contract in keeping you alive to work the full term of service.
We just call that
a short term.
We just call those apprenticeships now.
Right.
So you have so many different finds across so many different eras. This one signed by Paul Revere.
Not signed by. It was designed by.
Designed by. Where would that rank in your findings of all of your different antiques?
Well, I'd say that's definitely in the top 20, maybe in the top 10. I haven't given it a ranking, Kielynn. It's top 20 for sure.
How is that not a top 5?
Yeah,
I got a lot of cool stuff.
Kielynn,
that's why I got a lot of cool stuff.
Take it to Kroger and see if you can buy a pound of butter.
It's worth a little more than just a pound. Better be coming home with a whole butter supply. Right, give me the cow.
Is there something you'd like to have that you're kind of looking for?
Always.
I kind of stumble across things, but I do know you go specifically to different parts of our country to pick up certain things that you have found. But so oftentimes in your journey, you run across something that you weren't looking for.
Well, like I'm getting ready to go up to visit my friends in Pennsylvania once again, and I found some really cool stuff out of Pennsylvania over the years. So I'm going to check out my old haunts in Adamstown and see what they scare up for me. I don't know what I'm going to.
Do you consider yourself a dealer or just a collector?
Oh, I'm a collector.
You're a collector.
I buy far more items than I sell. I am in the amassment phase of my collecting.
All right, so I'm going to tell you what every antique dealer asks. What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with all this stuff?
I think he wants a storefront. I think he'd like to have a store.
Well, I'd like to have a store to fund my antique collecting expeditions. Like, I want to be paid for traveling around the country and then finding these items for good deals that are really cool, but that I don't necessarily want to have or have the room for.
You're like Indiana Pickers. You know, the Pickers on Lifestyle.
Yes.
What is
Do you know that show, Ethan?
Yeah, of course. I'll be Mike. Where's my Frank?
They come to town. They've come to town a few times. They come to town because we do have some good stuff here. We really do.
Ethan, that was nice of you to come and share that. I've never seen anything like that.
It's super cool.
I think we're going to be doing this.
We're going to try to do show and tell. This is our show and tell segment. We're going to try to do show and tell once a month.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this next month. So I'll be coming in and bringing some more
I just
junk.
got a notice from that they said Sparkle Savings. It's the jockey underwear 4th of July sale. Yeah, it says three for $30 men's underwear singles or BOGO. Buy one, get one, 80% off.
Okay, well,
This
we
came
know
to
who
you
you're
in a
talking
text?
to,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I got plenty of underwear, but I need fireworks.
You need fireworks.
Hey, Ethan,
Can I
thank
trade
you.
the underwear for fireworks?
Ethan Hatcher, Saturday Night on the Circle. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you,
It's really
Terry.
cool. We'll see you next month. It's 11:28. We'll get you some news, and then coming up after that, we're going to talk about what's next. Is it Caitlin? Caitlin
yeah.
Clark.
Yep, a new
I mean,
book
she's not
about
going to
her.
be here. Oh, no. Take it easy. Not Caitlin Clark herself, but somebody wrote a book about her. It's a good one. 11:28 news is next. 93 WIBC.
still fit.
93 WIBC and Network Indiana, Kielynn Clark, all across this state, all across this country, all across this world. Everybody knows Kielynn Clark and what she has done for the WNBA and our Indiana Fever, and this city has truly been a sight to see. It's been amazing. But some fans, I'll bet, didn't realize that there were a lot of pioneers that came before. And Howard Megdal is a journalist, and he's an editor who's worked a lot of years covering both men and women's sports, and he's also written many fantastic books. But he's here to talk about his brand new book. It's called Becoming Kielynn Clark. It's available right now on Amazon.com, and also he recorded an audio book that we'll tell you about too, and where you can get it. Howard, that was a lot of talking, but I'm glad you're here. How are you?
I'm great. Always excited to get the chance to talk.
Well, thank you. The Kielynn Clark phenomenon. So much has been written about her, and your angle, though, is a little different.
Well, I think it's fascinating. We're at a moment in time where we're seeing unprecedented interest and levels of interest in women's basketball and in Kielynn specifically. And so I think it's really important for us to understand the next level, right? How did this happen? Why did this happen? And the more you dig into that story, it is fascinating that simultaneously what Kielynn Clark is doing is unprecedented, yes, and in fact, it is happening now in so many ways because of a product of the time and place that Kielynn is in. And so I wanted to be able to make those connections clear, and being able to spend several years digging into the research, the amount of connections, it's not 6 degrees of separation. In so many of these instances, even going back a century, it's just a person or two removed from Kielynn's current moment that helped make this happen. And so drawing those connections was not just really important to me, but a real joy.
A lot of women, a lot of great athletes played through the years, but people weren't watching. And then all of a sudden, here's Kielynn Clark out of Iowa. As somebody that has covered both men and women's sports, what was about this young lady that captured our attentions?
There's two elements at play here, right? And this is even when we talk about the very recent past. There is the fact that Kielynn, and let's not get that twisted, because there are some folks who try to dismiss her and say, oh, well, it was anyone at any time. And what Kielynn is doing on the court, her ability to shoot from distance is beyond what we've seen. We have had people like Sabrina Ionescu and Diana Taurasi, but she is taking it to another level. Her passing is remarkable. I love this stat, forgive me for getting a little nerdy, called assist percentage, which is basically the total number of assists you convert. A handful of folks have ever been north of 40% at the WNBA level ever in a season. Kielynn, freshman year of college, was north of 40%. Her senior year, she was north of 50%.
Wow.
She's doing things like no one has done. But it is really important to note, too, she's doing this in a moment. ESPN in 2021, for the very first time, broadcast every NCAA women's tournament game. In 2023, started using the March Madness marketing campaign that they've used for the men for a long time. So there's attention, a spotlight finally, but boy, did Kielynn rise to the occasion.
You have said that there are traces of the way that she plays that go back a long time ago.
It's a beautiful thing. So two things. Number one, in Iowa, unlike virtually every other state in the union, there was never a moment where girls were not permitted to play basketball in a high school varsity setting. In 1925, a group of administrators pushed back against that effort in Iowa and started what was called the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. And so there has been consistently, from generation to generation, girls basketball, a state tournament that became a crown jewel of an event in the state. Everyone aspired to it, and there goes along with that the ability to celebrate the female athlete, and it's something that Kielynn Clark was born into in that way. It was also a game that is played at the time, and for 70 years, 6-on-6, which effectively turned the game into 2 3-on-3 half-court matchups, very high speed, surrounding a lot of scoring, a lot of pinpoint passing. By the 1960s, a team called the Van Horn Hornets only 551 people in the whole town. No player over 5'5" won the state tournament by playing in a way, and you can go to YouTube and watch them, that is very easily identifiable as a forerunner to the way Kielynn plays today. So everything from how we think about women athletes in our society to the way in which she stars on the court is clearly in her DNA going back decades.
This is Howard Megdal, and he is an author, many fantastic books, but excuse me, his latest is called Becoming Kielynn Clark, the unknown origin story of a modern basketball superstar, and that she is, Howard, that 2024 draft. The book actually starts with the draft. Were you there when she was drafted?
It's such a culmination. First of all, the draft itself reflected the growth. You talk about the power that she has, and the power to bring people eyeballs, spotlight on this has led to a sea change in the way in which this is covered. I pointed this out in the book. There was a WNBA draft in the not-too-recent past that was on the second floor of an electronics store in New York City. And this is different. This is the Brooklyn Academy of Music and a sold-out crowd. And as you're walking in, there's, like the Beatles on Ed Sullivan in terms of the crowds getting ready for her to see it. And just to see her in that moment, again, like every other moment, and this is another thing that just stands out about her, is that she is always comfortable in the moment. She is like the eye of this hurricane, and there is this calm to her, and there was in that moment, and being able to hug her parents and Lisa Bluter, and who was tearing up as she's giving her words of wisdom, and Jan Jensen, who's there as well. It was just this moment of ascension for somebody who had worked her whole life to do it and was finally ascending to a stage that was worthy of the women's basketball world in a way that we've always believed it should be, and now finally is.
The casual fan, what might they not realize in regards to what Kielynn Clark is doing for women's basketball?
I think the most important thing that Kielynn is doing is she is reordering where women's basketball is within the broader culture. Everybody knows Kielynn Clark in a way that you couldn't say about any women's basketball player for, frankly, ever. And that is not to say that I think it's hard to argue she's the best player in the league even. And so that's a fascinating duality, right? Mm-hmm. She's bringing more eyes to a sport that people are going to get to see, and then they're going to see Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart and Jonquel Jones, and the list goes on of stars, of epic stars, and Nafisa Collier, and at the same time, more people are going to get to see all of them because there's a story in this book where I talked about the fact that when Kielynn plays in a PGA Pro-Am tour, so golf, men's golf, not her sport, men's tour, and everything gets reordered around her. The Golf Channel changes its entire programming schedule so that they can show Kielynn Clark on 18. And again, I don't know that there's a men's basketball player that would have led to that happening, but Kielynn does it. So you said it was such a great question. Kielynn has so much power, and that's some of the ways in which she's using it.
This is Howard Megdal, and it's Megdal. He's written lots of great books. This one is his latest. It's called Becoming Kielynn Clark, the unknown origin story of a modern basketball superstar. It is a fantastic read. Amazon, you can get it there. And he's also recorded an audiobook, which is available on audible.com.
We are spending every day at thenexthoops.com and over at the 9 Women's Basketball Newsroom, working to do this coverage justice every single day. We got Tony East covering the Fever every single day.
Great.
It's really worth your time.
Thenexthoops.com. Okay, be sure to check that out.
And I don't know if I'll have this before it's on, but I think we're finalizing an appearance at a bookstore in Indianapolis on July 19th.
Ooh.
So, obviously All-Star Game is coming.
Yes.
The moment we have that set, I will tell you, but I know I just literally this morning heard from Stephanie Zenda, who's incredible on the publicity side.
Fantastic. We'll make sure we get that out. Absolutely.
I'll tell you.
July 19th, we're looking for a book date for you, and we will make sure to confirm that. And then will you be coming? You're here for the All-Star Game. You'll be going?
Oh,
yes?
Sure.
Of course you will.
Oh, yeah. we got a team of people at the next.
Okay,
so
I can't
we'll
wait
have
to.
Tony, my social people. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, but
It'll be fun.
Let's say hello.
Well, let's do say hello. Love to have you back when you're in town. Howard, I loved it. Thanks so much for talking to us today.
This was such a pleasure. What a great interview. Thank you so much.
It is 11:45 coming up. Denny Smith.
July 1st is almost
by the way,
here.
we were just talking about the fever, but Stephanie White, her 100th career win last, when was the last game? Yesterday? 2 days ago?
Wow.
Can't remember. 2 days, yeah. I don't know what days
That's pretty cool.
But
As
that's
a
pretty cool.
coach.
100th win as a coach. Absolutely. Pretty cool. Congratulations. And their next game comes up on Tuesday, and I believe that one is here. Kielynn?
You're funny.
She wants me to say, here's the thing. This is a first rule of broadcasting. If you don't know something, don't say it.
Yeah, so you
And
ask
I
everybody
ruin it.
else.
I just ruin it for everybody because I say stuff that I just don't know if it's true. But I know their next game is on Tuesday.
I do know that we're about 20 days away from the WNBA All-Star.
Yeah, that's
Very
pretty
cool.
I am hyped for that. We'll talk about it a little bit more next hour, but we got to get to some dollars and cents, Danny. What's up?
All right, so while you're stocking up on your brats and your fireworks and everything else,
I bet you said your bras.
You gotta
You have to
figure
stock
out
up
what
on
else is
those.
lighting up. And on July 1st, not only are your property taxes still going to explode, but there's a lot of interesting stuff that's coming down the pipe. We'll talk about that.
You need to know coming up 11:46. It's the first day. Here we go. You know it. Here we go.
You've got a friend in Denny. You've got a friend in Denny.
I can't believe I've got three women singing to me.
I love this song too, but Denny, if you're joining us on our live streaming, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, thank you for joining us. But you see, Denny has, one moment. Oh, Denny has a nice, lovely corn shirt on. And so I think we need to give him a new theme song, yeah?
What's that?
What's that? What is this?
For me, I really like cold.
What do you like about corn?
It's cold. A good corn, but not.
This is a real song?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Terry, you know the recess therapy where he interviews a whole bunch of kids? Yes. This was from one of them, and they remixed it into this lovely song.
About corn.
About corn.
Well, that's the one
love
thing
corn.
that the governor and the legislature did not screw up this year.
thank goodness for
farmers
Indiana.
are still in good shape. But
Thank goodness.
before we get going, I want to talk about the law that did not come about this time. In finance, we talk about realized gains and unrealized gains. An unrealized gain means that you bought a stock at $20. It's now worth $50. So your unrealized gain, because you haven't sold it, is $30. You got $30 more. When we buy a house, you buy your house for $100,000. It gets reassessed at $250,000. So you've got an unrealized gain of $150,000. Only in Indiana. Only in Indiana does the legislature and the governor allow us to be taxed on the unrealized gain. Yeah. Knuckleheads.
What a crock of crap.
Well, thank you, Alexandra. They were busy cutting budgets and bumping up speed limits, but they sure didn't touch our sky-high property taxes. So sleep tight, homeowners. There's other things that you want to talk about.
New laws starting July 1st.
So lawmakers pulled an all-nighter, and they were slashing dollars for public health, higher education, and public broadcasting. So if you catch sniffles or want to learn something on PBS, keep your fingers crossed.
You know, and I am, because I am a huge fan of PBS. I really am. I've watched some fantastic concerts, just some fantastic shows.
I think a lot of people love it, but they don't like the political implications. And I think
don't even pay attention. Here's the thing. I'm not paying attention to that.
Good for you.
I truly am not. I'm just enjoying some of the great stuff that they do put on PBS.
Lots of educational content.
Truly.
Just throughout.
All right.
Okay, anyway, never mind.
As you were,
so,
ladies. All right, so Kielynn, on your motorcycle. Now you can go faster on I-465.
There you go.
They've raised the speed limit from 55 to 65, and here's the good news.
Hey.
You can reach the next construction zone or pothole just that much quicker.
You sure can.
Isn't that great?
It sure is. And remember, we always like to go 10 miles over what the speed limit really is.
Minimum.
So now you're going 75, if not
Now,
faster.
I also want to thank Guy Relford, who does, the gun guy on Saturday evenings, because the red flag record expungement has now taken place, so that if you have a red flag thing, it can be expunged. The way I have had this explained to me, it's the court system of saying, whoops, our bad, let's fix that, so they can take it off your record.
Okay.
And I think Guy had a lot to do with that.
And that begins July. That's the new law, July 1st.
Right.
Okay.
So I was already yelling at Alexandra, my new second best friend in the whole world, that your student ID, you cannot vote on a student ID anymore. And I was telling you, I have a student ID from Columbia University in New York. The rule was I could go to New York and vote because I have a student ID there. Well, that's nonsense. You have to have a driver's license. And Alexandra, you've got the star on yours, which means that you're all legal. So get ready to tell all your roommates why you couldn't vote if you don't get a driver's license or real ID.
Okay.
All right. Now, swatting is a crime. You know what swatting is, Kielynn? That's when you call, if somebody you really don't like, you say, I want to tell you that Kielynn Talley, who lives at 12345 West Main Street, there's something bad going on in there, and I think she's trying to kill somebody. And so then the SWAT team...
Just because she's met there...
That's right.
Okay.
So the SWAT team is dispatched, and then somebody gets hurt.
What is up with people in this beef? And like you said,
no, Kielynn.
Road rage. You guys need to find some conflict management solutions.
No,
go to therapy.
So anyway, swatting is a crime now. It used to be, I don't know.
You know, I don't mind that one.
Who has the time and energy to do that?
People who are
people
angry.
that are angry, and it's usually jealous women.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
And then
I was wrong.
All right, so there's also the new college sports ban. In high school, they have banned transgender sports. If you're born with a tallywhacker, you play with the boys. If you're born without a tallywhacker, you play with the girls. And that's on the college level too now. And that's the state of Indiana.
That's the law.
So no more rules, no more headlines. You've probably seen the heated debates on Facebook. Oh, golly, these people get crazy. All right, hold the phone on lab-grown meat. Y'all heard about lab-grown meat?
What are you saying?
I'm saying that no test tube T-bones in Indiana. I'm telling you what, you can mislabel it and you're in trouble. But if you like burgers coming from something other than hooves, then you're angry about this. But 2 more years, the Indiana legislature and the governor have said no thanks to artificial meat.
Now, wait a minute. Have we? So artificial meat, would that be? Is that like when you would go to a restaurant and you would say, no, that's vegan.
That's what I was going to say,
right?
Lab-grown meat is just that. It's grown.
Grown in there.
It's a duplication of the amino acids and the protein levels, but we
Are
don't
they
want.
selling
we
it
don't
here?
want it. Nope. No test tube T-bones.
Okay,
We're not
that's
gonna have
against
it.
the law starting July 1st.
Right. All right. So
RIP
how are we
to
doing on time,
vegans,
Kai?
I
We're doing
guess.
okay. All right. So this is one that caught me off guard. Foster youth bank accounts. If you're a foster child, you did not have the ability to open an account. So if you had a summer job, let's say you're 15, 16, and you're earning money, you could only deposit it in your foster parents' account. And so now you can get your own account. And I think this is a good law.
I do too.
If the kids are working, and I don't want to convict the foster system in any way, but there are some really good foster parents,
right?
And there's some ornery ones. And anyway, that's that.
So now beginning July 1st, they will be able to open up their own account.
They get to open up their own account. Now
it
is court supervised, which I think that's a good idea.
It's a good idea too.
All right, last one. Goodbye to diversity, equity, and inclusion in the state of Indiana, but welcome merit, excellence, and innovation. So it's the same for all the human resource posters. Just fewer colors and buzzwords. I mean, this just makes sense. We want to get the very best people and the best thing. So be prepared for new slogans here in the state of Indiana. It's coming.
Okay.
And
that's
so,
good, Denny.
So just to recap, you're going to be paying more taxes on your imaginary home wealth.
Yep.
You'll drive faster through the same potholes. Fake meat is banned. Fake emergencies are illegal. And students get that real ID ready so you can vote. How's that?
That was a beautiful recap, Denny.
I enjoyed that. There you go. July
Welcome to
1st and New
Indiana.
Laws by Denny Smith.
Yeah.
Roll Hoosiers.
It's 11:56. We've got another hour to go. We'll hear from the Indiana National Guard 38th Infantry Band coming up and what they've got planned for Independence Day. And news. That's next on 93 WIBC.
Ceasefire could be reached to end the war in Gaza within a week. Now, if that happens, the region could see the remaining 50 hostages freed from Hamas captivity and much of the suffering alleviated for the Palestinian people. The president is looking to build off the momentum that was reached following the end of the 12-day war between Israel and Iran. Tomorrow, Ron Dermer, a top advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is scheduled to visit Washington to move the process forward. As these diplomatic efforts take place, they may also lead to additional normalization deals in the region and more stability for the Middle East.
Israeli forces continue to operate in Gaza. The IDF says they've killed one of Hamas' founders. Russia launched its largest aerial assault of the war overnight, firing more than 500 drones and missiles at Ukraine. Ukraine says nearly half were stopped, but the attack hit areas far from the front lines. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Parks should be places to enjoy your summer, not firing your guns. 80 and mostly cloudy. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 12:03. Police say a man and woman were shot on West Vermont Street near Thatcher Park Saturday evening on Indy's west side. This is when a family gathering happened. IMPD officer Sergeant William Young says opening fire is ridiculous behavior.
One of the most difficult things as I arrived here is I saw small children outside.
The woman died at the scene and the man was taken to a hospital where he is stable. Officers are not sure how the man and woman are related. Research studies said in 2023 more people died from gun violence than car accidents. Fort Wayne police say they arrested 2 people for their involvement in a shooting. Here's Jarrett Lewis.
They believe the shooting stems from a fight between exes that happened Thursday at a beauty parlor. That afternoon, 2 people, identified as 39-year-old Anisha Denise Jackson and 28-year-old Tenor Dewan Doby, were shot and killed. Then on Friday, police arrested 29-year-old Shan Lindell Ford Jr. and 37-year-old Quenisha Gaylor in connection to that shooting. They now face multiple preliminary charges, including felony murder and attempted burglary. The 2 now sit in the Allen County Jail. Jarrett Lewis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And an annual event called the Miss St. Joseph County Fair Queen Pageant happened Saturday. People compete in several categories like modeling, hair, and makeup. The winner is Emma Mears, who is the Fair Queen. She and 8 other girls from St. Joseph County competed in that event. WIBC News Time 12:04, your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
For today, some spots of fog waking up. Partly cloudy skies become mostly cloudy. Spotty pop-up showers and storms expected this afternoon. Highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Farnsworth Metal Side.
first day, the last Sunday of June, and we're here with you on June 29th. I'm Terri Stacy along with Denny Smith.
Good morning. And my buddy Kielynn May. And we've got a couple
afternoon.
new faces in here.
Matt Bear's here.
Yeah.
Matt Bear is here. You know him. I don't even have to introduce him. Matt's on.
I
Is
was
he on
fist
camera?
bumping my neighbor, and I was excited to be here. So.
That's Alexandra.
Hey.
Alexandra Barker.
Great-granddaughter of Bob Barker.
Yep.
You know the television host, I'm sure.
That's it.
Whoa.
It's pretty cool, Matt.
Matt, it's a lie. Matt, we're lying.
Well, can I get you to sign my phone?
Matt, we're lying.
Oh,
we're lying.
never mind. Sorry. Don't do that to me. I don't come on the show very often.
I just want to mention we've got Matt in here with us. He's going to hang out. We're going to talk about the 50th anniversary of Jaws because I just can't stop talking about it. But Denny gave out some fake information earlier.
No, it wasn't
about
fake.
465.
One of our listeners, Steve Mavis, was kind enough to send me a text message, and I forwarded it on to Matt. And Matt, it has to do with the 65-mile-an-hour speed limit around 465.
Is this the one where you're calling me a liar? Okay. Good morning, everybody, from the traffic center.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here. This is a big thing coming up on July 1st. A new law here in the state of Indiana is raising the speed limit of 465 from 55 to 65 miles per hour.
We made fun of it and said it just gets us to the construction zones and potholes quicker.
That's what the whole law was designed to do. It says right there in the literature.
Yeah.
I mean,
But there's
right there verbatim.
but there's a catch here about when it goes into effect. Is that right, Matt?
A little bit, yeah. Here it is. First off, there are going to be construction zones where you still have to obey the posted speed limit. Okay, that's not going to be 65 miles per hour. That's going to be 45. And I'm talking about that monster on the northeast side called Clear Path Construction.
With all the cameras that send you love letters in the mail.
Yeah, you deserve that.
That's
You deserve
so-
it.
I didn't get
I don't
one.
like that. That creeps me out. Maybe I just haven't been back home for a while, but I didn't realize that was a thing.
It's a thing.
And I saw it on the news, and I was like, "Hey, let's not."
24,000
Slow it down, sister.
warnings went out, didn't they? I mean, just within the first month.
There was 1.5 million warnings that went out during the pre-enforcement phase. Everybody got, if you didn't get a warning, you don't get to sit at the cool kids table. Everybody got a warning up on the northeast side, and that's what they did. It's a pre-enforcement phase, kind of cool, where what happens is these cameras take a picture of your license plate if you're going 10 miles per hour over the posted 45
And
mile
you
per hour
don't know they
speed
took
limit.
your picture.
You do not know. No.
No clue where the cameras are throughout the whole
Well,
strip.
most of us know where they are now. We really do know where they are now.
Taking half of them
No,
down.
I didn't get busted. I know where the cameras are. Sorry.
No.
All right, man.
He's in the know.
with you next
All
time.
right, so back to the
Denny has
65
his
mile an hour.
sources.
65 mile an hour.
Right.
When does it happen?
Okay, it's supposed to happen July 1st, but the caveat here is not until all the signs are up that say, warning, no speed limit. New speed limit, 65 miles per hour. So the new speed limit signs have to go up, and all of them, before they can start enforcing the speed limit. Who wrote this law?
I don't know.
I don't know.
This is bedlam.
I don't know.
Some person who's really bored, I guess.
This whole thing is bedlam. No, but this is supposed to take about a week, okay, for these new speed limit signs to go up. So I would recommend for those planning to speed at 65 miles per hour that you wait until somewhere around July 10th. Or
Hey,
July
are they going to
11th.
sell the old 55 mile an hour?
Oh, that's a good
They should
point.
sell those old
I
signs.
would buy
You know what
it.
they should.
I would buy it. Frame it.
Great idea.
That would be some
be
great dorm decor.
Truly a great fundraiser.
It would be. Right next to your sign that says Mithofer Road.
Oh, boy.
I hope you had fun taking that one down.
Yeah. Man, oh, man.
Man, oh,
and
man.
now just since we're into this, and you know how I love talking traffic, there is nothing that's made me angrier than what's happening on Washington Street.
Oh, my God.
Matt, we know we're getting ready. I thought this was all about the bus, but what are they doing? What is it that they're doing on Washington Street?
Yeah, when you say
all the
about
way
the
from
bus,
downtown all the way out to Cumberland.
Yeah, you're saying all about the bus. You mean the purple line, the
purple
blue
line.
line
You're right.
construction. I get
Excuse
my
me.
lines mixed up.
Yeah.
But that's going to be that section in Irvington around Ritter and Emerson Avenue
Putting
and
like
everything
big giant
else.
tubes under the ground.
Yeah, they're doing infrastructure improvements to get ready for the new lines, the new the lines, the electric buses that are running through Indianapolis, and that deal at Washington at 6570 downtown.
Sure.
And this is good for you're apoplectic right now. I am too. This is for rush hour people, especially leaving in the evening. That whole interchange and on-ramp, as you know by now, is just costing you minutes upon minutes upon minutes.
Did you know that the number one bestseller on Amazon for books is A Dictionary of Curse Words? And most of the editions have come from Indianapolis.
I think I need to buy that.
Right.
Yeah.
Add it to my dorm decor with my 55 mile per hour speed limit sign.
It has been a nightmare. And whoever has planned all of this, why do we need to go 2 ways on Michigan and 2 ways on New York?
That
was
so
working
stupid.
fine.
Oh, my
I've seen
gosh.
ambulances now 3 or 4 times that are trying their best to get through there while the construction is going on, and you've made it 1 lane. And where is everybody that bought a house on New York? Where are you parking now? What have they done to you? I'm here to help you. I'm angry about it too.
They all want us on
Terry's
roller
on your
skates
side.
and
I'm
bicycles.
here for you.
Yeah.
I'm not Rafael Sanchez, but I will look into things. Okay. Is there anybody else that wants
Wait
to
a minute,
spew
Rafael
about
Sanchez?
traffic?
That was good.
I love Raphael.
Raphael's great. If you've
What
got
a
a
guy.
problem, and he's got a boatload of people that are, help me. I'll take some of that load. I'll help you, especially when it comes to
Why don't we call him about Washington Street? I mean,
I called
him right
Matt.
now. Put
I
him on
called
the
Matt.
phone.
He gave me a little bit of information. I mean, it wasn't great,
Yeah,
but
I
I'll
said,
take it.
Hey, Terry, Washington goes east-west. You go too far east, you're in Cumberland. That's
Hey, you know what? Let's not talk about it anymore.
Okay.
It just
Let's
makes
talk
me
about.
mad.
Let's take a break, and then we'll come back, and we're going to talk about the 50th anniversary of
Dang, we're all off. Go to break.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough.
Nothing but good vibes.
12:15, 79 degrees, and partly cloudy, mostly cloudy skies, I guess. Terri Stacy and Denny Smith and Kielynn Talley and Alexandra is watching us today, still shadowing. But she'll be gone. This is her last time, so we're going to miss her. And then Matt Bear.
The
he stopped
handsome
by.
man that you were seeing on YouTube in the blue shirt that is...
It's not Denny.
That is a child size 8. That is Matt Bear, okay?
It's actually 7.5.
It's 7.5. I'm wearing the corn shirt, and I'm blocked out, but I'm happy with that.
Let's talk about...
I like your shirt.
Let's talk about... It is a cool corn shirt, Denny. Let's talk about the 50th anniversary of Jaws, shall we?
Oh, my.
It's the scariest music ever. Well, next to
Get
Psycho.
your blood boiling.
What's great is... This was the scary part.
This
It wasn't even about seeing a shark.
This draws up your pucker string.
You know, something bad's about to happen.
A minor key gets your heart pumping.
Gosh. I think one of the scariest summer blockbuster movies of all time. And I know there's a list of blockbusters, but this one was one of my
And in
very
all
favorites.
fairness, Kielynn and Alexandra, neither one have ever seen it.
I
can't believe that.
How about that?
Matthew, have you seen
I really
it?
need to get
Jaws?
more times.
It's not that scary anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I
You
said.
already know the punchline.
I
You know
what
what's
happens at the end. And it's just not a big deal anymore.
Shark wins.
Yeah, shark. Listen, I mean,
No,
you don't
he
want to
doesn't.
get eaten by a shark. That's
well,
pretty much the
Kielynn,
moral of the story.
okay, you're a
Run
young
away.
adult.
Swim
Why
away.
have you not seen it?
I loved the music, listened to it, and then I was like, all right, check. It feels like I had already listened and watched the movie because of listening to the song. Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. It's really okay. It's just not. It's 50 years old.
Do you remember where
so
you saw
I don't
the
know if
movie?
I'm watching movies that are 50 years old. Some.
Do you know where you were when you saw it?
I remember seeing it. I believe we saw it at Glendale.
We saw it at Glendale.
Glendale Movie Theater,
Mm-hmm.
and then
I love Glendale.
or could have been out on the east side. I don't know. I guess I don't remember, but I remember in the movie it was terrifying to me, and what it did when you look back at the history of what it did for tourism.
Kept them out of water.
Because it's kind of based around the 4th of July.
Absolutely.
A lot of it filmed at Martha's Vineyard, and still to this day, people are coming. They still want to see, where it was filmed, and truly the music. That first girl, who I think her name is Terri, that's in the ocean, and it grabs her and it pulls her under, and she. And then
Back
she goes
it
back
up,
down again.
Terri. Back it up. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my gosh. That was a whole
When I
other
watch
thing.
the movie,
Denny.
I'm going to say that.
That was scary. That's a whole other thing what we're listening to. But Jaws, what it did was incredible still for their tourism. But at that time, tourism to going to oceans, and I mean, I worried about being in the bathtub. I mean, the whole thing.
I remember that. My mom had that too. Yeah.
Yeah, really?
She was staying out.
Bathtub?
Yeah, she stayed out. She wouldn't let the kids in either.
No, because you're right.
God.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, my goodness.
She said the only way to get over this is to go get bitten by a shark, and we weren't in for that.
When we were taking scuba lessons at the time, and then after we
Of
did
course
that,
you were,
we went.
Denny. Denny was taking scuba
No,
lessons.
Jane and I were taking scuba
See, you
lessons.
amaze me.
But when we went out to the ocean, there was some trepidation. We did.
Yeah.
You go first. No, I'm not going first. You go first.
I still worried about getting stung by a jellyfish.
Me
Even
too.
through all that.
That's all I
like
ever
that.
really worried
So
about. I
much
never thought
worse.
about a shark.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just worried about a jellyfish. You knew you'd survive.
Well, you would if you'd be in some lethal pain, but
Right.
I mean,
Stingrays.
I would rather because a shark goes quickly. When it eats you,
quickly.
the
Yes, it just gets a
stingray
leg.
will just kind of get you on the leg. Yeah.
Well, they mistake us for turtles. Now,
Or I've heard
they
like
really do,
seals or like sea
Seals?
otters.
because you're laying. If you think about it, you look like a turtle when you're laying on your floaty in the ocean, and
Yes.
you've got your arms out and your legs out, and you look like a turtle. And sometimes, if it's not a great white, it's just a mako or whatever they call it.
The mako, the fastest shark in the world.
Not to say that
the
it's
mako.
Take a
choreographed,
bite of
but
you,
do you know what
but-
the strike protocol of a shark is? They go down about 300 feet. They look up and they see the shadow against the light. And if they see the surfboard and your legs out there, they're like a torpedo coming straight up. So it's an impact death as much as it is the bite.
Well, if it doesn't like you, and most of them don't really want to eat us, they'll take a bite and leave, and then you're without a leg.
Well, because they're like, ew, this tastes nasty, and then they just swim away.
It's terrible. It would be frightening. Although a great story for later if you survived that you were, what's that? Well, I was
Kylie,
bit
do
by
you
a
like
shark.
do you like swimming in the ocean, Kylie? Now you haven't seen the
I love
movie.
it.
All right, so will you go way out?
No.
No.
No. I'll go as far as I can at least kind of touch
Touch
the
the
bottom,
bottom?
and that's about it.
All right, so that's just natural
Wow.
chicken.
Now
okay?
now I'm going to tell you
as
this.
far as induced chicken, okay, which when you see the movie.
They can get you in 2 feet of water.
What?
2 feet
You're
of water.
lying.
They come that
Nope.
close?
They come
Yes.
that close.
They'll
Even in
swim-
low tide.
When they're chasing
Yeah.
little fish, they can come in even in low tide because one of them have
They're looking at that blue shirt, Matthew, and go,
Looks yummy to me.
Yeah, I'm going for that. That's a size 7.5 kids shirt for sure. Yeah.
That's a child in you.
Yeah, can you say sweet meat, Louise? Let's go.
That child has hairy legs.
Time to grub.
This is what Jaws did. You know, for a lot of us, we've done the research. We know they're close when you're out in the water. They even have what it has done for the shark immediately after Jaws was released was everybody was out to kill sharks.
Yeah.
And we now know that not and some young people today became shark researchers and in the world of marine biology because they love shark. They love Jaws so much.
Here's a line for you from our YouTube chat. Kathleen says, "We're gonna need a bigger boat." Remember
Great
that?
line, right?
Yep.
Best line. But
and the last one was just before he takes the shot when the canister's there, and he says, "Smile, you son of a."
And then it was over. And just for a minute, I felt bad for the shark.
Oh, you
Whose
didn't.
name was Bruce.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Brucey.
They called him Brucey because it became affectionate. It was affectionate.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I think the best part of the whole film is when they're talking about the story about the USS Indianapolis.
Oh boy!
Right?
They were on the boat. It
on
was
the
at
boat,
night, sharing a bottle of wine.
Boats just going up and down, and then they tell stories about what's the actor's name?
Quinn.
Yeah,
or
who
Quint.
was that guy? Was it Shaw? Was it Robert Shaw?
Yes, it was Robert Shaw. He's passed on. He's back home with God now. But he told that story, and it was gripping.
Oh my gosh! And for so many people said they didn't know the story of the USS Indianapolis until they heard him telling it in Jaws.
Yeah, and Quint was the captain of the boat. He hated sharks, and he was taking his revenge from the USS Indianapolis. So when Dreyfus and I can't remember the
the other guy,
that cop,
right? What's his name?
Roy Scheider. Roy. Yeah, they went out. They wanted to get somebody who knew what was going on and wanted to go out there because a lot of the captains wouldn't go out on the sea.
Yeah.
So.
I totally forgot about that with the USS
Remember?
Indianapolis.
Do you kind of
that is
remember
so
it?
cool. I want to go back and watch the movie now.
Oh, because you kind of once you know we here in Indianapolis we know the story, and so now that you kind of go back and you watch him tell the story, it makes you mad at the sharks too.
It makes
all
you
over
want to watch
again
it for a first time.
It's really good.
Kylan, are you going to watch this movie now?
You know what? You might just have made me want to.
Yeah.
Me and Kylan will have a watch
make sure it's dark.
Yeah.
And make sure it's quiet in the house.
The only time I had the opportunity, outside of just watching at my home, my school was hosting a watch party for Jaws. They were doing it in the swimming pool, though.
Yeah, it's so
bring
fun.
your tubes and you get to be in the pool and have a projector with Jaws on. I don't know. It's a pool, but I had nightmares like that as a kid. I don't know. I'm okay.
No.
That's an administrator with a sense of humor.
I will say I always wanted to go to Universal, I think it was Orlando, where they had the Jaws ride.
Yes.
Like, I always wanted to ride the Jaws ride.
Oh, boy.
Well, it's been it is still just this timeless film. The other Jaws films, they were not as good. The 2 and the 3 and the 4.
The sequels are never as good as
never
the
as
original.
good. But that first Jaws, truly, I think one of the scariest movies. Other favorite summer blockbuster films? Matt, I'll call on you.
Oh, wow. I'll put on the spot.
Denny, favorite? Anybody?
Raiders of the Lost Ark. I always liked that. I mean,
such a terrible
Indiana
film.
Jones. Oh,
Hated
shush
it.
you.
Hated it.
No, you're lying.
Stupid big ball chasing after him. What is that?
No, I
can't
love
outrun a
Harrison Ford.
Oh,
Don't
did you
play
like the
with
Star
my
Wars?
emotions like that.
Well, when did Star Wars come out? Was that Christmas time? There's summertime and there's Christmas time. I never remember when I see them.
I don't know,
I
but I loved it.
I think I remember taking Andy to the first Star Wars. He was 2 years old, and he was in his onesie pajamas. You know, they were yellow. And he stood out on the hood of the car, and he was playing like he had a lightsaber. It was the cutest thing. I wish I got a picture of it. But that was 40, 50 years ago, too.
Yeah.
You didn't take him inside to watch the movie? Or did you just...
No, we went to the drive-in.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. We put him on the roof, and then Jane and I
just
could...
outside the movie theater by himself in his little lightsaber onesie.
That's right.
Glad Andy made it.
Yeah, he was a survivor,
Me
you know?
too. Me too. Anybody, Kylan? You have a favorite summer blockbuster? You're an actress.
Okay, I won't lie. I'm too busy looking at fun facts about Jaws and the behind the scenes of filming it. The quote, right? You're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
Right. One of the most...
That was a good one.
The famous line. It was ad-libbed. It wasn't even in the script.
Oh,
it was ad-libbed by the actor Roy Scheider. And the line came from an inside joke among the crew because they were frustrated by how much and how tiny spaces they had for loading all the equipment up onto the boat.
Oh.
Look at that.
Gonna need a bigger boat. That's funny.
Iconic.
The best lines are always ad-libbed.
Okay, well, I guess we'll take a break.
One more thing. Libertarian Dragon says that after Jaws premiered, swimming pool sales skyrocketed.
What did?
Swimming pool sales.
Unbelievable.
Oh, really?
Nobody wanted to go in the water.
Funny.
Now, I will admit this, right here at Lake Schaefer up by Monticello, I remember being in the water getting ready to get up on skis and having something come up and nibble on my leg, and I about wet myself.
You know what? That's the truth.
That's
when you did go back in.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly
But I
you're
wasn't
right.
thinking of Jaws. I didn't know what it was, but I just kept saying, let's go, let's go, let's go.
You know, though,
Run,
that next
Forrest,
time
run.
you
Or
went
swim.
into the
Swim,
water,
Denny, swim.
into the ocean,
Yeah.
when something did touch your leg, whether that was seaweed or whatever it was, or a tiny fish, you were done.
It was barracuda.
You were just done.
It's a
It's
barracuda.
Hey, you know what? They're close, too. 2 feet. Don't
Hey,
get in there.
do we have time for one barracuda story?
If you want to. But
We took the Boy Scouts.
doesn't surprise me.
we
He was
took-
barracuda. He was wrestling barracuda.
No. we took the Boy Scouts down to Sea Base to get them certified for scuba diving.
Sure, right.
So we had to do a night dive. I lost one fin, so here I am with my buddy. It's dark. We had to do the night dive, and over the top of us come up, and this is not an exaggeration, hundreds of barracuda. And what barracuda do is they charge the reef to scatter all the food source.
Sure.
And then they eat it. But when you're down below them, you're thinking, how am I going to get back up to the boat? Because you had to go through the barracuda.
Sure.
And finally, they left our area. But here I am with one fin at night, and I got a little fluorescent thing so they can find the body, you know. And
good thinking.
Barracuda are just as bad as the sharks.
Denny's one fin glowing
Yeah,
in the dark.
one fin glowing in the dark. Yeah, that's me.
I've got a flare on one hip.
And I'm not the
and
appetizer.
a bear mace on the other.
Golly. Okay.
Bear mace.
Have we had enough here?
I don't think we've ever said bear mace on the first day show. In 50 years, we've never said bear mace until this moment. Okay, yeah, let's take
It's
a
the
break.
first time for everything.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, Kielynn, is there something fun coming up?
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking
yeah.
with the 38th Division Infantry Band. They're going on their summer
Right,
tour. They're going
right.
to have
Cool.
concerts all across
And then
Central
popsicles.
Indiana.
I think we're going to talk about popsicles. When we come back for food news, too. All right, we'll get to the news. Thanks for joining us here on the first day, 93 WIBC.
Are you
Music, especially when it's performed by the Indiana National Guard's 38th Infantry Division Band. And here to talk about their summer tour is commander of the band, Chief Warrant Officer 2, Catherine Maloney. Hello, do I say Chief Officer? How do I?
Oh, no, you're fine. You can call me Catherine, but thank you so much for having me, Terry. It's an honor to be with you today.
Oh, thank you very much. How long have you served in the National Guard?
I've been in for 8 years, so actually a relatively short amount of time. It's been a bit of a second career for me, but quite the journey. I've loved it.
When did you end up joining the band from the National Guard?
Sure. So I joined I enlisted directly into the Army National Guard in 2017 as a flute player. After a few years, our commander at the time, Chief Warrant Officer 4, retired Patrick Palumbo, announced his pending retirement. So at that time, I auditioned for the role of director. So they call that the bandmaster in the Army bands. So yeah, I was commissioned in 2022, and I only took command back in August of this last year, 2024.
When you look at the history of the band, I mean, the 38th Infantry Division Band has quite a history, a long history, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So we go back and can trace our lineage as far as August of 1917, back when Army bands were more regimental bands within divisions. And then coming around the time of World War II, we were reorganized and consolidated from all these regimental bands into what you know today as the 38th Infantry Division Band in 1942.
The role of the band is what? And has it changed, as you mentioned, going back so many decades ago?
Sure.
That role has changed?
I mean, in a sense, back in World War II, we did deploy to the Southwest Pacific Theater with the rest of the 38th Infantry Division. But after that, in our lineage and our history, we have been mostly involved in the state. Our primary mission is to promote, all Army band missions, is to promote the Army and our national interests that shapes the environment and leads to trust and confidence in America's Army. So specifically for National Guard bands, we're there to support the governor's vision and the Adjutant General's strategic guidance. Our musical missions are for all military members and government agencies, community relations. We offer recruiting support. One of my favorites that we do is we render honors and provide musical support for military ceremonies. Specifically, we also provide live music to our soldiers, our families, veterans here on the home front, instilling what you hear is like that esprit de corps, instilling that will to fight and win. So we have a long history, standing history as the only military band here in Indiana.
Can you share about some of those events that the community might see you as?
Our unit is one of the most active and public-facing military units in the state. We have approximately 40 members and a very versatile band, even though we're so small, that offers multiple capabilities depending on whatever the gig would require, right? So we have a brass quintet at a lot of military ceremonies, promotions, retirement, commemorations. Full jazz band. We've recently headlined at the ISU Jazz Festival, and that was featuring the great Wycliffe Gordon. We have a small woodwind ensemble. We have a rock band, in fact. But a lot of our high-profile missions is featuring our concert band. Specifically, something we did recently was Governor Braun's inauguration at the Hilbert Circle Theater, and performed and supported that ceremony. We're at a lot of annual events, so if you are downtown at the Indiana War Memorial, you'll see us there for ceremonies like the Prisoner of War, Missing in Action Ceremony, Veterans Day, and our marching band for the 500 Festival and Parade. One of the most impactful ones is our buglers. If you've been to the Indy 500 race, as so many of our Hoosiers have, starting off the race is the famous taps that are played.
Yes.
That's our bugler up there in the crow's nest. So that is your 38th Infantry Division Band. And how powerful is that, right?
Oh,
when there's
yeah.
340,000 people in the audience, and it's silent.
We are so grateful to have you with us, Indiana National Guard's 38th Infantry Division Band. And with us is the commander of the band, Catherine Maloney, Chief Warrant Officer 2. Tell us what it means for you personally to be a part of the band.
I mean, being a part of something bigger than yourself, right? Giving back to community, to the state. It's a little bit of a family tradition for me, too. My dad, my grandparents, even my aunt, they were all in the armed forces. But I've always admired the excellence and the tradition of military bands. It's our history. It's where we stem from. This is a great band state, Indiana. And so I'm just so proud to wear the uniform and be a part of that history. I'm a part-time citizen soldier, and so on the civilian side, I'm a music educator. And just to be able to do what I love and perform in that way is just so meaningful.
Kielynn?
Meaningful indeed. Can we talk about your background with the National Guard? You had talked a little bit about it earlier, and you obviously come from a military family. What was the last thing that made you end up deciding to give
Take that
service?
path.
Yeah.
I've always admired the military bands, and I've thought to myself, well, gosh, one day, wouldn't it be cool to play and support a military ceremony? And I never knew about the National Guard bands. I mean, it's such a fantastic opportunity. As soon as I found out about it, late in my career, and so when I found out that there was a National Guard band in which I could still maintain my civilian career, but still also serve in the military, I thought, well, geez, what a great opportunity to do that. And so being able to be in the National Guard and serve in that capacity is really an honor.
Is there a performance or a moment in your tenure with the band that stands out as especially meaningful?
I'll never forget my first time performing with the band. I had just got back from my initial entry training. So yes, bandsmen, we still go to basic training. We still go through our school training for our job. I was only home for one day, and all of a sudden I got orders. I was called up to support a funeral. A general had passed away. And so I had been home for one day, turned around, showed up in uniform, and, hey, you're going to be in this funeral dirge march for a general. And it was a 21-gun salute, and we marched to the parade field, or where the ceremony was taking place at the cemetery. We marched, and, you have a caisson in front of you, the wagon with the casket on it.
Oh, yeah.
And then, full salute, right? And we get to the parade field, and I'm standing there at attention. We just finished playing a very moving, slow funeral piece of music. And you're standing at attention, and all of a sudden the howitzers fire, the cannons. And then you hear the rifles. And then just behind me, our bugler playing taps. And I'm standing there at attention, and I look out of the side of my eye at the family and the folding of the flag and watching them and their emotions. I'm getting choked up about it now. I think that's when it hit me that I was like, oh my gosh, this is why I'm doing what I do.
Wow.
Because those notes are so meaningful. That respect that you pay to the families, so meaningful.
Yeah. We're getting ready for Independence Day. And is it okay if we talk about patriotism a little bit? Because I think those that serve could not be more patriotic. What does Independence Day mean to you as somebody that serves our country?
Well, I think you said it right there, right? It's always a reminder of our history, who we are, that we've come together out of a common belief, and that belief is in freedom. It reminds us of those who've paid the ultimate sacrifice to protect that freedom. But as you said, Terry, it's like now as a member of the military, it gives an added perspective. Having the privilege to wear a uniform, and be a part of the history of those who wore that uniform in the past, it gives me pause. It's immeasurable to be a part of something bigger than myself, a part of that history. And so now, even as someone who's serving in the military, and probably for veterans, I would say too, it becomes that much more meaningful just to reflect on that history and being part of that.
Terry and I have talked a lot about the word patriotism and how it comes in many different forms. Can you recall one of the first times that you felt patriotic yourself and felt proud of your country?
I guess because I'm a professional musician, I still play in the community. It's always gone back to music, and anytime I hear patriotic music, it always just makes me feel so proud to say, like, okay, these songs mean something.
Will you be performing on Independence Day?
Oh, you bet. We have a big show planned in Plainfield at Hummel Park. So we'll do our 90-minute production. We'll take a quick break, and then we're even playing live music during the firework display.
Oh, I love that.
We've scheduled and worked with our recruiting battalion to do a public oath of enlistment with a few new warriors who are scheduled to enlist.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm hoping that will happen. I think it'll be a special moment on the 250th birthday of Independence Day, too, for our country, to see those raise their right hand and take that oath. So hopefully that will happen. That's scheduled. We'll see what happens there.
Chief Warrant Officer 2, her name is Catherine Maloney, and she is the commander of the Indiana National Guard's 38th Infantry Infantry Division Band. Thank you for giving us your time today. Thank you so much for your service. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me, Terry. I really, really appreciate the opportunity.
It is 12:43, and coming up, we've got food news, but wanted to remind you that today, from 1 until 6, it's the 25th annual tour of... No. Wait.
It's the Irvington Garden Tour.
Irvington Garden Tour.
Yes.
25th Irvington Garden Tour. Starts at 1, goes till 6. Tickets are just $10, and you can purchase them at the tour locations. And if you would like to know more about where you can do that, because there's a few places to stop. But for most of you, you know where the stops are. You've been before. IrvingtonGardenClub.com. Thank you, Rosemary. We'll have more coming up with food news, Kielynn, next.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some events around Indy.
All right, we'll do it. Take a break. 93 WIBC.
Trump.
It's 12:48. It's going to be a hot one, but not as bad as it's been. So I think we're only going to 89 today.
No, I was watching the news the other day, and they said a cool front's coming in at high 80s.
It's right.
That
Awesome.
rain is in perfect timing for 4th of July, so it's not going to be all dry and hot.
Yeah, makes
I'd
me
say
nervous.
so.
Just sticky and hot, sticky and
damp.
Are you sticky?
No. Well, and on the 4th of July, we're all sticky. Golly.
Good grief.
Talk about being sucker bait for you guys.
No.
Gals.
Look, I stayed out of that one.
Yeah, I know.
That was between you two.
It is hot, though. And today's the last day of PopCon, and I've seen all of the cosplay people, fans, running around in huge costumes, and I cannot believe...
It's hot. Damn hot. Real hot. Hotter than this is my shorts. I can cook things in it. Little crotch pot cooking. Can you tell me what it feels like? Fool, what is hot? I told you again. Were you born on...
The late, great Robin Williams from Good Morning Vietnam.
Nobody
I love
like
it.
him.
Oh, my
Nobody likes
gosh.
him.
It's hot.
Can I just wait just 1 second? Hold on. I got something from Firefighter Charlie. I also wanted to mention that at PopCon, you were talking about PopCon, in between PopCon, inside of PopCon, is FurCon. And FurCon is for cat lovers and dog lovers.
So it's not furry
I was
specific.
worried.
It's for the
Yeah,
critters.
Well, that's kind of cute.
So
I think.
BC Henshin sent me a note. He's so great. And his wife, remember, is the ninja groomer. Do you remember? She was a ninja warrior. And she'll be there grooming cats at 2 o'clock. I didn't know you could
Who
bring your cat.
grooms a cat?
I know, but then he'll be there. BC will be there at 3 o'clock, and he's going to be teaching how to feed your feline like a superhero. So I told him I would mention it because, again, this is all part of PopCon. It's FurCon right there with the PopCon. And thank you, BC Henshin. And Firefighter Charlie, thank you for the beautiful video as well. Okay,
We've got
I'm ready to
33
go.
days until the Indiana State Fair, 20 days until the WNBA All-Star. And with that, if you want some tickets to the WNBA All-Star game, there is a scavenger hunt happening around Indy. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
Oh my goodness. It's all across central Indiana. So you got stuff from Fishers, Plainfield, here downtown, so many different places, and each day has a different day. Today, they are going to Plainfield. Go to allstarhunt2025.com, and that's events through July 11th. You have to be the first to arrive at that correct location that they post on their social media, and they'll give you a little trivia question. So, for example, yesterday's clue was this former Madison and Indiana Wesleyan University basketball player was named 3 times to the All Crossroads League second team while at IWU. Name that player.
Oh my gosh,
Holy cow.
I couldn't.
It's-
do that.
it's
I mean,
for
you
real.
can Google it, right? I mean, you can Google it and get your answer.
So
You'll
if
have
you-
to do
sure.
some deep dive, and I couldn't find it
No?
off of the quick search that I did.
So is it a
Maybe Jordan?
multi-level game? You have to win every day, the one that wins
It
the
would just
most?
be that one. You
Just
get
that
a
one.
pair of tickets for that one trivia question
that's
if you
pretty
were the
cool.
first person there.
If
It's
you're
an
the
awesome
first
little
person
thing.
It's
there.
sort of
So-
like
It's
geocaching.
yes,
Yes,
That's what I was gonna
exactly.
say.
I love.
Mhm.
We should
Or,
talk more about that in the summertime.
Pokemon Go type
Oh
thing.
yeah, Pokemon Go.
I love all the
What was
stuff
the
that they're doing
answer?
for. I don't know. I don't know. I told
Kai,
you.
you can't set us up with
Told
a...
ya. I looked it up and I found Jordan. Maybe Jordan
Which Jordan?
Widener.
I don't
WEIDNER.
know.
He was a 4-time All Crossroads League team member, but they said.
No, wait a
3
minute.
times.
I bet it's a woman.
Good luck to whoever
This
won.
is for the
WNBA.
All-Star,
That's what I
yeah.
would think. It
That's
would
a fair point too,
be
because
a
Tamika Catchings
woman.
was one of the winners for the
One of
trivia.
the
But she went to
questions.
Tennessee.
Good luck to
yeah,
you guys.
good luck.
For all
We
the
can't figure it
trivia.
out any.
But Plainfield
Good
today.
grief.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
got ya.
yes. Lots of great things happening all across Indiana. And, you know what, talking about some events, let's get into some food news,
All
shall
right.
we?
Let's go. Bum, 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 bum.
For this food news, we're going to be talking about Taste of Indy 2025, which is this Saturday. It's crazy that it's already time for it. 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. to 9 p.m. this time. Last year was just till 6 p.m. They're extending the time for it. tasteofindy.org for your tickets. It's Indy's largest food festival. You need to be there. And friend of the show, Jonathan Warren of Taste of Indy joins. Jonathan, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. We're so grateful for your time this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Indy's largest food festival, and you know you're in for a full day of great food and drink. Can't possibly name all the food vendors and food trucks and food tents, but how do you describe this experience?
Yeah, so great question. So it is going to be a flavorful experience for the entire family with all kinds of music and activities for everyone.
From local restaurants to, there's so many different options. Can you explain some of those and how it's going to be laid out for people to experience this Taste of Indy?
Yeah, so we'll be at White River State Park, and we'll be on the lawn at White River, and we'll also take up the entirety of the bridge. And we have about 30 food servicing vendors, from food trucks to caterers to restaurants. To name a few, we'll have El Mason, Flatfish, we have St. Elmo, we have Ayazo's, Chicken Scratch. I could keep going on and on, but it'll be all different types of vendors, all different types of dessert vendors. We also have Coca-Cola is one of our sponsors, so 4th of July weekend, you'll definitely have beverages. And then we have a lot of just other entertainment, including music and things for the kids.
Yeah, see, Kielynn, here's the thing. There's more than just food at the Taste of Indy, and that's what's kind of cool. There's activities really for everybody. I mean, you're talking about hands-on. There's demonstrations, all kinds of stuff. Right, Jonathan?
Yes. So there'll be chef demonstrations on the main stage. We also have a concert all day on the canal. We also have DJs who will be on the bridge. So we're trying to make it where whatever you want to do, whether it's date night or time out with the kids, we'll have bounce houses. We'll have a little bit of everything. So we're trying to represent Indianapolis, show its culinary scene. There'll be a lot of restaurants that you may not even tried or heard of. And there's also a lot of caterers that will be there showing off their craft and just making what Indianapolis is as a food city.
We're talking with Jonathan Warren, Taste of Indy. How does everyone else partake?
Yeah, so you can buy tickets online at tasteofindy.org, or you can go into Eventbrite. Admission tickets are $15 at admission. And then once you get in the event, you can purchase food tickets and exchange food tickets for food.
I love it. What do you love about this one the most, Jonathan?
Yeah, what I love is I love just the activities. I mean, I like going to the beer garden, but I also have young children, so it's like, okay, let's go to the bounce house, and then, Daddy's going to be in the beer garden. So there's so much. I'm also a veteran, so I love the rock climbing wall and the presence that the U.S. Army is going to have.
It's awesome.
With recruiting future soldiers, and there's just so much stuff to talk about. So I'm excited.
Thank you for your service. I'm glad you mentioned that. And this Independence Day weekend, or not weekend, but Independence Day week, really. I mean, there's a lot of people that start celebrating right away. Mm-hmm. But what does it mean to you, Independence Day?
Oh, definitely. So my wife is currently a major in the United States Army, and she's been to Iraq and Afghanistan. So for me and my family, it's always a day of celebration. We have our parents are military as well. So, for the 4th of July weekend, it's always kind of a time to celebrate our independence, but also to reflect back on all the people who've also given up so much for our independence. So we're going to try to do that at the Taste of Indy. We have presentations on the main stage, and we're just excited to just celebrate in White River State Park 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to your wife as well for your service. And this Independence Day weekend, July 6th, Taste of Indy, tasteofindy.org. And you can certainly keep up to date with them on social media platforms as well. You will not be disappointed. You will have a fantastic day. And Jonathan Warren will be right there with you. Jonathan, thank you. We really appreciate you. And thanks for spending some time with us.
Oh, thank you.
Jonathan Warren, you're amazing. Taste a sample of Indy's best culinary, musical, and cultural scene at the iconic White River State Park. That's happening this Saturday. Go to tasteofindy.org for your tickets. Hey, you know what? Right before then, though, it is the 4th of July, so here's some food deals for you. Krispy Kreme, free donut when you wear your red, white, and blue to the store. And then it's also Customer Appreciation Day for NYC Halal Eats. That is up on Shadeland Avenue. I've never had it before, but it looks delicious. You can get a free platter, one platter per person, 4 to 7 p.m. Mark that on your calendar if you don't feel like cooking or doing a whole cookout on 4th of July. But there's so many different events, Terry, happening all across Indy for the 4th of July, like at the Benjamin Harrison House.
Yes.
That's okay, Terry. Don't worry about it.
She really had to think
is
about
that
it.
the ice cream social?
They also have the ice cream social. We'll talk about that next Sunday.
Oh, if we got to go?
Mm-hmm, we do.
Oh, I have so much more to say.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Hey, join us 4th of July for the first day 4th of July edition on Friday, 8 a.m. and 7 p.m.
I believe so. Absolutely. Until then, if we don't talk to you, have a safe and happy Independence Day. Be safe. Please don't take the dog or the cat to any of your events. Let them be at home, okay?
Well, thanks,
Keep them
Terry,
safe.
for having me. It's
Thank
been
you,
fun.
Alexandra. Great job having you. We enjoyed
Plumbing
it.
problems stink. The LD Smith Crew can handle anything. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members.
Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a